Hi, honey. Welcome back to our weekly date night. We're Mike and Jen, just navigating life, marriage, and type 1 diabetes together. All right, let's get into it. Before we get into today's episode, if you're not able to make it all the way through, I would at least ask you to look in the description or show notes on how you can make a difference with the Islet Cell app. I give you an easy email template and instructions on what you can do. Send this to your friends, send this to your family, and let's make a change. Hi, honey.
Hello. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Islet cell transplants. Oh, some updates, fun updates of this week.
Do you want to start that off then, the updates, or?
The updates of the week? Yeah. Okay. Random stuff for anybody that cares. We care. God is really cool. I don't know how much in detail you want me to share, so I'll kind of I'll share the basics, and if you want to expand on it, you can.
Okay.
My lovely husband here loves sports cars, and he always has had them. And, we bought a house about a year and a half ago. We've got Mr. Handyman, and we really need a truck. And also, we need a car for when we do decide to grow our family. My car does that, but we need both of us to have cars that fit car seats in it. You know what I'm saying? And we knew we needed a truck. Anyways, we've been keeping our eyes open for a while, and Mike has had the same dream truck for I don't even know how long. We didn't know it was possible, but we kept our eyes open. Then we found the perfect truck. And we're like, there is no way this is too good to be true. It just had the price range we needed, first of all, and then everything all about it, everything. And so we're like, let's just go look. We went and looked. He posted his car for sale, and he posted it for more than dealerships would offer, for more than even Kelley Blue Book was saying. But he's put in a lot of time and money into his sports car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyways, that was kind of pending with two different people, and they were wanting to pay full price. So we're like, okay, this is possible. Well, long story short, we got the truck and then we sold the car. Yesterday we sold the car.
Yeah.
And we sold it for above asking, but it was an even number. And there was significance in the number because of the date and all the things. And again, I don't know what you want to share. So yeah, so we are truck owners, not him, we, because I told him the deal is in getting this truck, I get to drive it at least sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm passenger princess. I don't like to drive when we're together. I would prefer him to drive, but
this is also like a comfy vehicle.
Yeah.
Because as fun as my, you said sports car is a 370Z. And I mean, it is a nice car, it's not luxury or anything, but it had like the sport package, and I did a lot of stuff to it.
You had it for almost 4 years.
Yeah. About, like right at about 3.5. And that's, I think, longer than any other vehicle I've had, which is really saying something.
I think this truck will beat that though. We'll have that longer.
It'll just live longer, even though it has more miles than the 370Z. It's a Toyota Tundra, and it's the 1794, which is the comfort, and it's not like it's flashy sexy or anything, but
I think it's sexy.
Yeah, it's nice. The Z was a really fun car. I did a lot of stuff to it, for it, with it, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I got that when I was a bachelor, and the plan was to keep the Z and then get a truck, and the Z would get converted into some kind of Mad Max project, basically. Well, life and a house and all these things, and that's just a lot of money. And the insurance alone, I mean, we're saving insurance.
Yeah, our insurance went down.
So that's good too. But the car just wasn't fun to be in anymore. I feel old half the time. I was just complaining about my knee hurting and stuff. And I have a aftermarket clutch, so it's a stick shift. You have to use your left leg and your right, for anybody that's dumb, but you use your left leg a lot, and
anyone that's dumb,
you know what I mean.
Me.
And so I did upgraded clutch and everything, and so it was really hard to press. It was super heavy, which is fine, but it is aggravating my knee, and it has been, and I don't know that that's going to get better. So just being able to not have to crawl in and out of a tiny little car, which is funny because I'm 5'8". I'm not a big dude or anything, and so for me to get in and out of it, and it's annoying. I'm not even 33 yet. It's gonna just get worse from there. So yeah, the Tundra checks all the boxes other than fuel economy, and also I don't drive that much, really. Most of the
No, it
places I
doesn't.
go are pretty close, or we're taking your car, which is like 35, 40 miles a gallon.
Yeah, my car is a really good gas.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's super exciting news. And I don't know, probably all of the details are way too personal, but just know that we literally prayed to God, if this is a wise decision, this is something we should do. Can you please just make it apparent? Like open all of the doors. And if it's not, shut the doors. And if you pray that prayer, it is a powerful prayer. God will shut doors if it's not. And we have free will too. There is that. But the way that absolutely every moving part of everything worked so perfectly together was crazy. From 2 days ago to now, we got the truck, sold the car. We're picking up the truck on Monday. It's Saturday.
A week
And
ago, I wasn't even planning to really sell it. I was just
yeah,
thinking about like, I think I could probably get like this much or something. And eventually I just posted it for more than I thought I would get, and
just expecting to
yeah,
negotiate.
yeah, I was just thinking, hey, if somebody offers me a good amount,
Yeah,
I might take it. And then I think there was 4 or 5 different buyers that are all trying to give me full price.
yeah.
And
And the
then,
person that bought was so, so sweet.
yeah, the
And
the guy that bought it,
he
he
was really
he
cool.
loves Z cars. He has another one, and he knows all about them, and he has plans for it and stuff. And he paid me a little bit over asking, actually,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But also, just like she said, the whole way that it just worked out, because I was praying too. I mean, it's always nerve wracking going into any kind of big commitment, especially with finances. And I was like, okay, am I doing this just because I want it, or is this a good idea? Should
This
I
kind of
dumb it
ties in
down?
perfect to last week's episode where Mike talks about um, just planning and finances and all of that. So this kind of honestly ties perfectly with that. It was just a prayer. It's something that we've wanted for a long time. But anyways, it was just a cool story that we wanted to share. And I know it's not as cool without sharing like all of the really cool details of how God's hand was in it, but it just was, and it was really cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for me, out of everything, the most awe experiencing part, other than just that God orchestrated every piece. I mean, that's always going to be wow every time. Just you, my wife, the way that you helped me to have the right perception on just like, okay, what's going on here? And I was nervous and I was thinking, I don't know, maybe whatever. And you just pointed out like, hey, we've been praying like either make it easy and just happen or shut it down, whatever. And it was just one thing after another. The way that you handled everything and supported me and didn't just bring an emotion to it or a bias or anything, you just stated like, hey, we prayed about this and it's happening. And I was thinking, last thing I want to do is pray for something and then I reject it. That's bad. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you pray for something and then you get it. You just need to accept the blessing.
And not to go into too much of a tangent, but remember the Bible study that you did on like listening to the wife? there's a
Yeah.
there's a lot more that goes into it, that
Yeah.
it's not just a blanket statement. But I was just feeling like this is literally what we prayed for. Like this isn't my like own emotion or whatever, but I feel like this is the right decision. So yeah, we are sexy truck owners. Or we are a truck owner of a sexy truck. I don't know. I'm not saying like we are sexy. You are.
You are.
But thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's make everybody uncomfortable.
Anyway, yeah, so cool. Don't want to spend, the whole time. We could probably talk about that forever because it was just the whole situation.
I really thought about like a YouTube series or Instagram page or something,
Just
but
about
you
cars
know,
and trucks.
well, just about the project because I always have like pictures and I have
Oh my gosh.
notes and
You should do that. Okay, listen. Let me just tell you guys something about my husband. I feel like I say this in every single podcast because there's so many things to tell you about my husband. He's freaking awesome. But there's something about Mike. He loves cars. I don't think I've ever said that in an episode before. He's such a car dude. He's always had cars and then like has just like taken them up several notches because he just likes, they're like his
I like to
toys.
make them unique. I like to make them
He
fit
likes to
my
make them
personality
different.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we have a lot of plans, as in you have a lot of plans for the truck. And so you should make like an Instagram page or something. People love that stuff, especially dudes, but I'd watch it probably because it's you, but
Yeah, I might have to.
you
And
should.
I always think of it's kind of cool because back in the day before like social media, which is crazy, but I mean, I was 14, 15, 16, and I'm working on cars and building cars and stuff, and we were taking pictures with the like old digital camera, and then we had folders, and there was like some kind of forum you could go on to, and you could put your like pictures in. And man, Instagram makes that easy. It's just like a journal,
Yeah.
a
So
build journal.
all over average of 10 viewers, let us know in the comments if Mike should make an Instagram account, because I think that'd be fun. What should we call it?
No, I'm already working on that.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
do it. I
Okay.
got
All right. All
it.
right. Okay. So moving on, hot topic for our day as type 1 diabetics and anyone affected by type 1 diabetes, parents, spouses, the islet cell transplant.
It's exciting. It's revolutionary.
Yeah, it's exciting. So, first of all, we have to say this on episodes like this. We are not giving medical advice. We're clearly not medical experts. Do your own research. I will always say this, like for any of our podcasts that you listen to, take it with a grain of salt and make your own opinions. Unless we're talking about the Lord. We're firm on that. Like he's the best. Follow him. But everything else, take it with a grain of salt, do your own research. We are just now starting our research because, of course, if you're in the type 1 world, it's a hot topic right now. Actually, we have some notes on your phone, but the islet cell transplant or clinical trials have been happening since the 90s. I did not know that. That shows you how much I paid attention. And I've just been more recently intentional about certain things. I'm trying to get more involved in the community physically and not just on social media. So, islet cell transplant. Let me just read some notes here so I don't completely butcher things.
Yeah, let's not give the wrong info.
Yeah. So islet cell transplants are basically taking insulin producing cells from a donor pancreas and putting them into someone with type 1. So the goal is to help your body make insulin again. It's not necessarily a full cure. However, there have been, again, I'm just now starting my research, so is Mike. There have been some people that are like 100% off of insulin. But the more I dug into it, I started like asking things like, well, how long does that last? So they have found that like over a certain period of time, it's not like 100% a cure. And it's like years and years. Then they start to maybe need a little bit of insulin again. But take that with how we live right now.
But see,
I'll take it. That's cool.
it makes me just think of stem cell treatment in general, though, because a lot of people will get a stem cell transplant treatment, whatever you want to call it, and they'll see a big difference, but they still say to like have more treatments. So
Yeah.
just the fact that you could do the islet transplant and see an incredible gain on the first time is crazy.
It is
And
wild.
it's probably because they're actually taking like healthy cells from a pancreas and putting it in healthy cells of the pancreas, because usually stem cells are used in any part of your body.
I wonder how that works.
What?
Like, I wonder who they choose. Like, can I choose my husband to donate some cells? Like, how does that work?
I don't know, because if you're getting a blood transplant or transfusion,
Yeah.
then it has to be a donor that has the same blood type or
We
something.
don't have the
So
same blood type.
I don't know if that has anything to do with pancreas, but like there's probably some kind of metrics that they test, and there has to be someone that fits that profile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
like more
I don't
into
know.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really new, and it's really new to us. So, we'll check that out as we go. That's just wild to me that we're even to that point,
It is so wild. And I don't want to get too much in the nitty gritty of like the science and stuff because, as we say, like do your own research. From the small amount of research that I've done so far, very small amount, again, like it backs to like the 90s. I think it was something like there's been over 2,000 trials or something. But as far as official, it's been like around half that. I don't know what that means, like what the unofficial ones are. They're just happening, and there are people that aren't using insulin anymore. It's a very hot topic in the diabetes world right now, at least the world that I'm dived into. And I'm not gonna lie, because I was diagnosed at 9 years old, and they told me at diagnosis there should probably be a cure within 10 years. And so when 10 years came and went, and I'm 19 years old, 20 years old, I kind of gave up that hope completely because it was almost like a self protection of like, if I like hold on to that hope, I'll be disappointed. But if I don't hold on to that hope, then I can't be disappointed.
I get it. And it's kind of our just default defense mechanism, just being a person, I think. but it makes me want to bring up your dad, and I'm going to, because
Okay.
it's kind of funny on my side, but I also get it, and it sucks to see it because I know it hurts too. But ever since I've known you, I mean, obviously you've been diabetic the whole
I have no
time,
idea what you're about to say.
but your dad always says, like, honey, you got to pray about that and God will fix you. And there's truth to that, but also it doesn't always look like what you think. And he's all for, like, put your hand up and someone walks again. And it happens, it does,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean that that's what God's going to do. And the amount of good that God has done through you for other diabetics and just women and everybody is crazy. And it's like, this is the avenue that he used for that. So it's has its purpose. And, with sin in the world and all the toxins and stuff, like, we all have all kinds of issues and stuff. And this happens to be the thing that you deal with all the time. But when your dad is like, honey, you got to pray about it, he'll fix
Mm-hmm.
you. It's like, what's going on here? Is
Yeah.
God bringing something through? I mean, you showed me one patient that you said got off insulin completely,
Yeah.
right?
I showed you two.
Two.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's already happening,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing more trials. It's just so new that, we don't know the longevity of it. We don't
Yeah.
know the full side effects.
Speaking to kind of my dad's side of things, we talked about this in one of our episodes that God does not necessarily cause the bad, but he can bring things for good for
Oh,
those
yeah.
that follow him and are called according to his purpose. So not just like we take that verse out of context, and I think I've said this before, so I won't harp on it too much, but I want to mention it again if you haven't listened to that episode. Sometimes we can take that verse out of context. I've been so guilty of it, so I'm not saying like other people, but God will work together all things for good. We cannot forget the entire context of that story, at least even just reading the entire like verse, because that's not even the whole verse. To those that follow him and are called according to his purpose. When you follow the Lord, he will lead you, he will guide you, he will direct your steps. Bad things happen in this fallen and broken world, and there's all sorts of bad things. There are even, dare I say, worse things, of course, than type 1 diabetes. There are inhumane things that happen to people, abuse. And I am not saying that God causes that. What I am saying, and we are going to talk specifically just in the context of diabetes, so we don't have to get on an argument about bigger things. Diabetes is what we've been handled if you're listening to this and you have diabetes. But what can we do, with that and with any bad thing in life? But for me, I lived in denial for so, so long. And again, like I said, I had that small inkling of hope. Oh, there's going to be a cure. Like, I'm a kid. I don't understand this. But they said this is basically in my adolescent thinking. I was like, oh, I just have to like take these shots and then I'll be cured. The doctors are coming out with it. Scientists are coming out with it. I didn't have any understanding. Then I get older and I'm like, well, screw that. That's not happening. So I guess I have to figure this out. It wasn't until I was around 24, 25 years old that I actually started taking diabetes seriously, which is wild to say. So I do believe in God's healing hand, and it's just such a complicated situation. But sometimes healing doesn't look like the way that we think it looks. God does create man, and God is responsible for somebody having a brilliant brain. Like, we can give no credit to that other than to him. And so these scientists that are coming out with these, like, that is a form of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, that's just my take on that. And my dad is so well-meaning, and I love him so much.
And I will say his prayers do work too.
His prayers are powerful.
I feel like your dad's prayers mean something,
Yeah.
And the same thing that goes along with according to his will, like, you have to follow him. If it's aligned with what he wants for you and the kingdom and everything, then he grants it. Well, it's the same thing with praying. Like, you can't pray for something with like selfish intent and expect him to give it to you. People say, like, oh, careful what you wish for, and like, make sure what you pray for is what you want or whatever. If you align your heart with God, the things you want are what he wants.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about that, or about, is this going to happen or not? Because if it's what he wants, it's going to happen, So as long as as long as your intent, your heart is aligned with him, then he's going to do things through that, and he's going to, cause it for the best.
Yeah.
So, I it's one of those terms where the like non-believing world, or just over time or whatever, they call it the silver lining. Well, that's the same thing. It's like, even in a bad situation, there's something good, and that's God. No matter what happens, freaking hurricane happens or whatever, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. He is still doing some amazing work and changing lives and helping people. But also, sometimes us suffering is the best thing
If we had a
for,
perfect world and perfect life, we wouldn't need
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a great point, and it's true.
Yeah.
They're doing clinical trials still, so there's opportunity to get better at it, to grow, to just test it on more people, and be able to get the awareness out and word out and everything. And then it's just compounding exponential growth from there, because you get more doctors involved, more scientists, more trials. It just adds up over and over and over. And that's why we want to talk about it, basically.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is a thing. Everybody should know that this is a thing, and not necessarily like, oh, it's a foundation, give them money, but like, talk about it, look into
Well,
it.
Breakthrough actually supports
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So we love
So it
Breakthrough
is,
too, Andy.
it is
Yeah.
a thing, but also, we want to get in that trial if possible.
Yeah. So
Shoot.
we're like legitimately going to look into
Yeah.
it. We talked about it this morning, both of us watching a like 3-minute video of one of the patients that was completely cured, both of us in tears watching it. Cause I'm just like, I'm gonna get emotional again, but I'm just like imagining life not doing all things. And like I said earlier, I know that there are other hard things that happen in this life, and people could argue harder things, but this is my version of tough. This is my personal story and my version of hard that I deal with all the time. And just like even trying to imagine and picture not doing that feels so foreign to me. And it feels like, man, if I could just dream for 1 second and just dream about it, like that would be a really cool life.
Yeah. And, you're emotional because you have hope again, is what
Yeah.
it is. It's not that like you never had hope that it would get better or anything, but like you said, you wait for decades and nothing happens, no change, no one even talks about it.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden there's people that are basically being cured, at least in the somewhat short term,
Yeah.
in which case they can transfer that somehow to being long term. I want nothing more for you, and, that would happen to be for our kids and everything else, because it just frees you up in a lot of ways. But a lot of people deal with these kind of things, not diabetes. Well, I mean, I guess some people diabetes from their own decisions, their own life issues, mistakes. We all deal with consequences and a lot of long-term things. If something happened, you lost a leg, or you got in a car accident because you were drunk driving, like that was a decision you made and you're paying the consequence, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But you were 9, you didn't do anything, and it just is what it is. So it's not even like you did anything and you have to pay for it. It's just handed to you. And I know that
Yeah.
I can't imagine the whole journey. So yeah, I want nothing more than to, at the very least, what can we contribute to the cause, and or how do we use you as a lab rat?
I will be a lab rat. And what's crazy to say, and I'm sure there are people that fall on all sorts of sides of this, but I guess for me personally, I wouldn't take any of it back. I wouldn't take any of my childhood back. I wouldn't take any of the heartache, the tears. I wouldn't take any of it
The
back.
pain, the physical pain.
I wouldn't. Even we'll do an episode on this. We plan to, even my legs. I wouldn't take any of it back, because all of it caused me to have so much dependency on the Lord. And it has opened different doors that wouldn't have been opened without. It had, like, even more importantly, I've made some incredible friends that I would have never, ever, ever talked to them or have had the opportunity to meet had we not had type 1 diabetes in common.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of so many people, just even like the type 1 community. I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm going to. And I was telling this to Mike. Um, what it I don't even like this word, but I'm just going to say it because it is what it is. But like type 1 diabetic influencers, none of us would have that same platform, if you will. And I'm like, I don't give a crap. Throw it away, take it away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. And that's not the main message I'm trying to get out there anyway. Like my main message,
My
wow.
main message, I tell you what.
My main message is a message of hope, a message of there's more to life, a message of light. But anyways, I do think about that too, and I'm like, I do not care. Take it away from me. Give me the stem cell treatment.
But what's cool is even if they fix you, done, no more insulin, no more anything, you still have all this experience. You could still help people. You could still
I
be
would
a
still want to help
speaker. And
people.
I know you would, but like without it, you would never had this podcast. You would have never done Instagram and everything else the way that you do for what you do. Even if you did still do it, it would just have to be about you, like, oh, I don't even know, whatever people do. I don't even get on there anymore, but it would just be more selfish. But because you have an amazing heart and I think your content's good too, personally, but people like it and people learn from it. People message you, they ask questions, they're complimenting you, they're thanking you, they're crying in audio messages to you, thanking you for being honest and open, and or they learn something. I mean, it's an incredible impact that you have all the time.
That's so
And who
sweet.
knows if it wouldn't look the same, if you didn't have diabetes. Just the fact that you can have all this experience and then possibly also get better and still get to help people would be incredible. So
I think if I were cured from type 1 tomorrow, or I don't even know if they're calling it a cure because they're saying that it's still
that's
in
a
trials and all
touchy
that.
word to
But if
use.
I were to no longer need insulin tomorrow, I would still want to be involved in the type 1 diabetes community. I've been personally trying to get more involved physically into the community and just looking for ways to be, because I don't want it to just be social media. I don't want it to be about me. You go on Instagram and of course you're going to see a ton of my face because it's me doing my like site changes and
Yeah.
whatever. And that's fine, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be out of that world, because I do know that even if it were to come out tomorrow and open to more people, that not everybody necessarily would be able to access it, which we'll talk about at the end of how we can help push this forward and make it more accessible to all of us. But yeah, so you found a video too for us to watch. I'd love to watch that.
We're going to watch it.
Yeah, let's watch it. Like I said, this is not necessarily medical advice or anything like that. We are in the beginning stages, Mike and I, of doing our research on it because it's a hot topic right now. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it.
You guys are about to meet the first person with type 1 diabetes to become completely insulin independent, and it's all thanks to Eledon Pharmaceuticals and their amazing drug, tegoprubart. This woman has been insulin independent for 14 months. She doesn't have type 1 diabetes anymore. There are a total of 5 people that are completely insulin independent thanks to Eledon and their amazing trial right now. You guys are going to want to pay close attention to this company and what they are doing with type 1 diabetes. This amazing video was put out by the Diabetes Research Institute.
Marlena Godel's blood sugar crashed in her sleep.
My daughter ended up finding me passed out on the floor in the middle of the night. At that point, I knew something had to change.
So in August 2024, she entered a clinical trial, receiving transplanted islet cells with a new, safer anti-rejection drug.
It's been a little over a year now, insulin-free.
Today's success started more than 30 years ago when Dr. Norma Kenyon and Dr. Camillo Ricordi began testing a drug called anti-CD40 ligand.
It can free people from the need to take toxic immunosuppressants and constant insulin injections.
The Global Alliance for the aim and the final goal is to eliminate completely anti-rejection drugs. You cannot stop until you reach the home run. There is no such a thing like partial success in the search for a cure.
I wanted to help give the hope back to everybody that the cure is possible.
I like that he said that partial success is not like you're not done yet. You have to go for the home run. And with health and with this, like, yeah, it's either on or off. It's not like, oh, we can give you, a little bit less of this and that. They're trying to save people and actually make a real difference. So Eledon Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, that is the company that I wanted to look into. I know there's a lot of different research going on. I'm going to try to find some of the like larger researchers or whatever foundations that are happening right now. I'm going to try to find them and link them. I'm not saying I'll be able to find everything. You'll be able to do your own research, but I'll link some stuff that we do find. They are clinical trials, so I know it can't necessarily everybody, but the main site is clinicaltrials.gov, and then you can search type 1 diabetes, islet transplant, and you can filter by recruiting or active. There are also matching tools through Breakthrough T1D to help find ones that you could qualify for. So that's another one. We love Breakthrough type 1 diabetes. Yeah. There is now an FDA approved version called Lentidra, first approved islet cell therapy in the US for people with severe low blood sugar issues. So yeah, you'd have to look at like what, like if you qualify and all of the things. And I did, in my head, for some reason, I thought like they would only want to try on newly diagnosed, because I did see some trials happening that they would only do on people that had it for a short amount of time. But no, like the islet cell transplants are like, they're doing this for people that have been living with it for decades too.
That's crazy.
So, it says no donor needed.
Interesting.
Encapsulation protects cells so your immune system can't attack them. The goal is no immunosuppressants plus long-term insulin dependence.
See, in the immunosuppressants and like anti-rejection drugs and like, I mean, those have been a game changer for, I don't know, thousands and thousands of people over all the different transplants and stuff, but the side effects from those are harsh.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would still take everything, all the benefits from the treatment and have the whatever drug that they give me and have those side effects probably. But if you don't have to have that, I mean, that girl was talking about she lives just like a normal life altogether. No, she actually said no side effects.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. That's crazy. The biggest thing that we can do right now, and Mike and I haven't done this yet, and we're about to dive so deep into all of this, but the biggest thing is getting the cadaveric islet cells reclassified as an organ, not as a drug. So right now it's classified as a drug, and I can understand why. There's so many technicalities, I'm sure, that go into it, but the goal right now is to get this reclassified as an organ, because when it's reclassified as an organ, it's a lot more accessible to everyone. You can contact your congressmen and senators about passing the Islet Act. The more uproar that we cause about this, the more, I don't want that to sound like some like fighting thing, but the more attention we can put on this, the more we can annoy the living mess out of our congressmen and senators about this. They cannot ignore it anymore. It's demand. So the more the demand that they have on it, the more that they're going to look into it, the more that they're going to listen. It's like with anything, if there's no one really like demanding something or talking about it, they're just going to kind of push that to the sides. We need to all come together as type 1 diabetics, as people that love type 1 diabetics, or as people with a caring heart.
Yeah, and
literally anybody.
Yeah, and I want to tell anybody that's listening to or watching, it's a law. If you write your congressman, they have to give you a written reply, which means you can bug them and they don't have a choice but to acknowledge it at the very least. Because any like regular company or whatever, if you want to be a Karen and complain about stuff, you send them a letter, they throw it in the trash.
Karens out there. I feel so bad for anybody with the name Karen and you're not.
You know, even if your name's Karen, doesn't mean you're a Karen. Karen, that's just a really nice way to say that they're a B. You know, so like, anyway. But normally you email or send a letter to a company, they're just going to throw it away. They don't care, you know? I mean, there's probably a select few that are great, whatever. For like your state senate, the governor, Congress people, if you write them, they have to reply to you, and not their secretary wrote a generic whatever, not AI replies.
So how do they keep up with that?
Most people just don't do it. Like not a lot of people are contacting them because they don't know about that.
I wonder if there's a way, this is me brainstorming now. I thought about this recently, and this might already exist. So if it does, I'm sorry. But if there's a way that you could almost like come up with a template outline to provide to people and be like, yo, just sign this, fill in the information, and I will send it for you. Tell me what state you're in or what county you're in, whatever, however that works. I don't know if it's just by state or by county.
We can make a form that does that. I'm in another type of, I don't want to call it a group. I don't know if Foundation. I don't know what it is. Basically, it's for digital assets, like Bitcoin and stuff like that. What it does is every time that there's a new petition or a new law trying to go into effect, whether it's good or bad, they have a template, and they'll even text me and say, hey, there's a new bill being proposed. We need your support. Sign this. And then that'll be like an entire entry from me. And I do that all the time. If we could figure out how to get that going, and I really don't think that would be very hard. It could be as simple as a link tree or something that leads to just a form. And when you add your info, everything else is auto populated, and then it would just send. So
Yeah.
the only thing is, state to state, we would have to make sure it goes to the right place, or even country to country.
Somewhere we can start is Oklahoma. I don't know how many, but there are a lot of type 1 diabetics in Oklahoma, just making a difference in our own state.
We could even just make a downloadable template and say, hey, download this, put your name in it, and send it.
Yeah. Some people we might have to send for. That's what I'm thinking.
That's fine.
If we can make it as easy as possible for people, I'll do all the legwork. I don't care. Just
when I say send it, it's just an email. You're not.
I thought you had to mail.
You don't have to physically write a letter, but like you write them, and they have to write back.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are, I need, like I said, look into it. I'm sure there's got to be some things that are existing out there, but I'm talking like wherever you are at listening to this, how can you make a difference in your reach within your space? I'm so futuristic. I can't help but to think really big all the time. But yeah, like how can we make a difference there and bug our congressman in our state? How can we bug our governor? How can I bug Kevin and be like, are y'all looking into this?
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear about it.
And there's a lot of things that have been changed or petitioned or whatever. And the only reason it happened was because they were so swamped with replies. They knew it was a big deal, and they basically couldn't handle it anymore, and said, okay, well, we have to do something.
Yeah.
One way or another, we got to get these people off our back. If you were going to work every day dealing with government stuff, that's already frustrating. When you got hundreds of people writing in, like, we got to get this done. So I think that's why it works. It's just, you have to have enough people. Anytime something big needs to be changed, you hear about people walking around with petitions for things, and it works. It really does. At the very least, it brings enough attention that they have to address it.
I've even seen a couple of people on Instagram going to capitals and things like that here lately. I haven't again looked a lot into those things, but there are people out there. I'm so proud of you, the people that are out there like really trying to make a difference in their area. I think that's kind of where it starts. If we can all come together and just make a difference in our local area, that's where it starts. And it could be a trickle effect.
Mm-hmm.
But we could not need insulin. We could be insulin independent. That would be so cool. Yeah. I'm, so sick of having to say when people are like, what's type 1 diabetes? Well, I'm just insulin dependent. I would love to be like, I'm insulin independent. Like, yeah, just living my life. That would be so amazing. I just think of how many different things that would do.
And then I would be the one with the worst blood sugars because I'm hypo.
Then we can work on that. We can work on that. Man, that would be so cool. I just think about because Mike and I do want to start a family. What if I could get working pancreas or get this stem cell treatment and just be insulin independent before I even get pregnant? That would be so cool. Because one of my biggest fear, and I know I'm not alone in this, one of my biggest fears as a type 1 is pregnancy. It's scary because there's so much pressure, and I obviously know it's possible. So many people have done it, but there's so much pressure. And I see some of the women that do share on social media, how much of a mental struggle it is too, because you could feel like a horrible mom if you have a blood sugar that goes out of range when you're pregnant or whatever.
Well, being pregnant's already got challenges, you could say.
Yeah.
So you add an entire life pain of type 1 diabetes on top of being pregnant. That's just
maybe that's why we haven't started a family yet. Maybe that's why we don't feel the green light, and maybe not. Maybe I do go through pregnancy with type 1 diabetes, but
maybe
we never know until we step out and step away and do an overview. We never know how God's hand is working through things. I even think about how I met you, and I can see all the things that happened before and how God's hand worked into this being my husband and who God had picked out for me, or whatever. There's just like even the truck that we talked about in the beginning, God's hand was so in that. We wanted to get this truck like a year ago, 6 months ago, and we weren't seriously looking, but we could have done it. But we waited for God's hand to be.
Yeah, and I seriously looked, I would say 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years, and every time I was like,
just wasn't right.
It's not the right time. When you're saying, you know, you look back and you see, you know, God's work and everything that he did, like it's easy to look back and see everything I went through that led me to you, and then see your side of it, everything you went through that led you to me. But at the same time, we barely see any of it. You know, he did so much in the background.
You were talking about that yesterday with your dad.
Yeah, and even with the truck, whatever happened in the previous owner's life that led this person to trade it in, that was all part of God's plan for us, which is just wild. And you have no idea what else is going on around that. Anytime that you do see his action or you see fruit, you got to think that's not even 1% of what he's really doing. And that's what's awe-inspiring to me. I'm just wow. Every time, I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, I was telling my dad yesterday, because I'm gonna brag on my dad for a second. He literally was preaching to this guy for years at his work every day.
He worked at this job for 40 years. He retired 2 years ago.
He was at this job for 44 years.
Oh, 44.
And there was a serviceman that would come in there almost every single day for, I don't know, at least a decade, 2 decades. I think he's known him since before he even started that job, I'm pretty sure. But the guy he's a nice guy, but my dad he's a real hard, let me preach to you about whatever, you know, you need to believe, you go to church.
That just goes to show that God will make anything work.
Even when you're, and not that he doesn't go about it the right way, but even if you're like aggressive about it, there's still a seed planted.
Yeah.
And this guy came up to my dad last weekend and said, "Hey, would you go to church with me?" And my
this
dad
guy that lived 2 hours away,
lived 2 hours away,
moved here.
He said, "Hey, I'm actually close by you now. I know we haven't talked in over 2 years, but I'm going to Life Church. Do you want to go with me?" He's like, "Oh, it's funny you say that. I've been going to Life Church and I'd love to." And they went, and the guy got saved. He gave his life to Christ. And my dad was in tears telling us yesterday, and it makes me almost tear up a little bit too, because I don't know, I'm just proud of him. And it is nice. Like, you see that little bit of fruit, and I was, you know, in my dad's face about it, making sure he heard me. Like, you can't stop doing this if you don't see progress, you know?
You never know the things you do, what ripple effects they have. And you don't always get to see it.
And maybe you can adjust your delivery, and we can always improve and get better at bringing people in, or, you know, you have to adjust. Every relationship is custom, but to be able to look back and see that and think, hey, I actually was used for something really important, and to acknowledge that this was still God, that I didn't do this, but like God used me for this and I stepped in the right way. Mm-hmm. That's encouraging. And then it's like, okay, do it again.
Yeah.
You know,
it is encouraging because, like you said, we don't always see it. And I think especially in the world we live in today, it's challenging because we can see people on these platforms, these physically visible platforms of like things that people are doing, but you have no idea what you're doing, where you're at with what you have is making a difference, and you don't always get to see it. Even as like this is something that could sound so little or silly. You could be in a grocery store and you have just like this, you see this lady walk and you're like, oh, her skirt's so cute, she looks amazing. And you tell her that, and you just like go about your day. You don't know that an hour before she could have been starving herself, or she could have been doing something and like telling herself like, I look horrible, or maybe had an abusive partner that was telling her like she looks horrible in that skirt, or you literally don't know what things you do, what kind of ripple effect they have. And so just listen to those instincts. That's why I'm so big on like when I go in public, if I think something about somebody, like you can ask him, I will say it. I have no idea how that's going to impact them.
A compliment.
I have no idea if they're going to stink face me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A compliment.
Something positive. Yeah. Not just like, I don't like you.
Yeah. Cause like I've even had people react where they're just like, oh, thank you. Whatever. Like,
well, and you get compliments. I don't know.
And it makes my day.
Multiple times a day. You know,
makes my day.
I go to the gym with you in the morning for 45 minutes, and there's like 3 people coming up to you saying like, wow, you look good, or this is good, or what. Yeah. You know, pretty often. and you just do your little like, I don't know how to accept
I like
that.
to compliment people. I don't necessarily need them to
I'm the
compliment
same way.
me.
I'm not good at taking compliments either, but
I like it when you compliment
that's
me,
okay
though.
though. Well, that's easy.
That's different. You're my hubby.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, just encourage people. And I mean, that's probably your top spiritual gift is encouragement.
I actually tested my spiritual gifts once upon a time. Can't remember when. I'm pretty sure that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Encouragement, intercessor,
discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.
So yeah, I'm gonna link what I can find in the show notes or in the episode description, wherever you're listening or watching this. And really just like, it's up to you. Just figure out who you can contact, where you are. Find out the email address of your senators, your governors, and congressmen, and just bombard them. Even if it's you listening to this, if you can get your family members, your closest friends, your spouse, that's right there. That's a difference. That's, 5, 10 people, 15 people that you can get. And if we could all do that, imagine the ripple effect that it could have. Ooh, one more thing before we go, I want to mention, because this Instagram, and if you haven't already found her, I'd be shocked, but I still want to share. She was patient number 9 in the islet cell transplant of the trial that she did. I can't find it, but handle is at Calamity Katie Beth, I believe. CALAMITYKATIE. And so her A1C is a 4.9. She posted this video just this week. Her A1C is a 4.9. She had stopped using long-acting insulin 85 days prior to her making this recent video. And then I think it was like 50-something days she was completely off of insulin. And then her doctor just recently told her, like, just don't use your Dexcom, like go live your life. And so I was like, man, that's so cool. I'm so jealous, but I'm so happy for her too. We're going to link the things, and I guess we'll keep you updated with what we can. I have no idea if I would even qualify for a trial, or I'm sure there are a ton of people trying to do it now.
Good.
I'm not going to give up hope.
As long as they're working on
people.
I mean, if it gets to be that it's proven to work, then who knows, maybe we could get it to be in, covered by an insurance or partially paid by the state or whatever it takes,
Man, if I didn't have type 1 diabetes, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have health insurance, but our health insurance would be a lot less to go private. Get the heck out of my corporate job.
That's true.
Oh, that's my biggest dream. I don't think anybody from my job listens to this, but if you do, it's not a secret. Everybody knows I don't belong in the corporate world, but I'm just there because God provided it.
But even though it's not your first choice, you show up every day, you perform to your best, you try to do better, and you encourage other people. So while it's not the long term, it is the right now. But yeah, you're meant for more, and not that nobody else is, but you
have a personal connection to me,
so I get to see your gifts is what it is. So anyway, we're pretty confident God's going to use you in a lot of other ways, basically. Just in due time. Love you.
That's the episode. Islet cells, trucks, and God is good.
Yeah. Always underlying statement, thing.
Underlying thing to everything we say.
God is good.
Yep. It's going to be God is good. Follow him.
Yeah.
And if you get sick of hearing us say it, that means we're saying it enough.
And if you did listen to all this, share this episode to one of your diabetic friends or somebody you know, because that's going to help spread it, and maybe they will write in or get accepted to a trial or whatever. Just let's just make this spread like a virus. Like, just have everybody
good
bug them. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching if you did. And
thank you. Bye, honey.
Bye.
Except we're not going by, you're going
by.
Bye. All right, that's it for today.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Be sure you're subscribed or following wherever you're listening.
And let us know in the comments what you liked from today's episode.
We'll see you next week.